It's up.
Hey adrenaline junkies, welcome to Police Chase. Today we're kicking off a brand new series, when people messed with the wrong cops, where every dumb move instantly triggers justice mode. Alright, let's dive in.
Think I'm playing, bro? Huh? Ain't nobody fucking mental.
It's up. Drop the fucking head.
Orlando, Florida. On June 7th, 2025, around 3:30 p.m., Orange County deputies responded to 203 North Ortman Drive after receiving a 911 call from the mother of a schizophrenic man.
He's been diagnosed as a schizophrenic.
Okay. Where's your son at right now?
She told deputies her 30-year-old son, Terry Washington Jr., had not been taking his medication and was behaving erratically in the street. Before heading to the home, deputies met with the mother, who explained that all knives had been removed from the residence to ensure safety.
The manic episodes are starting again.
Upon arrival, deputies spoke with Washington's father, who informed them that his son was inside a bedroom and armed with a knife. Deputies attempted to communicate with Washington for several minutes, urging him to come out peacefully.
Is there a knife or something like his knife?
His knife?
So I think he took it from me, this morning.
Let's come out and talk to us, buddy. Got no in trouble.
CJ, we just want to talk to you.
We just want to talk to you.
CJ, can you come out and talk to us? CJ!
It's up. Drop the fucking head.
Suddenly, he burst from the room, charging at a deputy with the knife in hand. During the struggle, Washington grabbed at the deputy's firearm while swinging the blade, leaving the deputy with little choice but to fire his service weapon, striking Washington. Deputies immediately provided medical aid until paramedics arrived. Washington was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. The deputy involved was treated for head lacerations and is expected to make a full recovery. Los Angeles, California. On the morning of June 5th, 2025, at approximately 9:10 a.m., officers from the Olympic Patrol Division responded to reports of an assault with a deadly weapon near Western Avenue and Washington Boulevard. Witnesses reported a man pointing what appeared to be a mini shotgun at passing vehicles. When officers arrived, they spotted the suspect, later identified as 37-year-old Roberto Gonzalez Flores, standing on the sidewalk of 18th Street with an object resembling a sawed-off shotgun. Despite repeated verbal commands, Flores refused to comply.
Where's up and ready? 40.
Flores then crossed the street and tried to conceal the object in his waistband. Moments later, he pulled it out and pointed it directly at the officers. Faced with an immediate threat, the officers discharged their weapons, striking Flores. He was quickly taken into custody and transported by the Los Angeles Fire Department to a local hospital, where he received treatment for his injuries.
Where's up and ready? 40.
Investigators later confirmed that the weapon was not a firearm, but a metal pipe modified to look like a shotgun. The fake weapon was collected as evidence. Fortunately, no officers or community members were harmed during the incident, and the case remains under investigation. Warren, Michigan, January 28, 2024. Police were called to the Speedway gas station on Mound Road about a man blasting music and refusing to leave.
We're being cool.
When officers arrived, they found him sitting on the floor with a dog named Jinx between his legs. A leash wrapped around his waist sent a clear message: "I'm not leaving."
Big sucker, dick hoe! A big old black hunter! Sit the fuck down!
He wasn't violent, but his behavior was far from normal, refusing to move, playing deafening music, dancing erratically, seen earlier with scissors and a knife. His expression showed contempt, not panic.
Try, I'm waiting. Please do. Let me show you the fuck out. You put that away, bitch. Now.
Take the dog. Take the dog with the taser. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Put your hands right there.
Officers knew this wouldn't be a calm conversation. When commands failed, a taser was used. But one prong hit the man, the other struck Jinx.
It's okay, dude. It's okay. It's time around him. Time around.
The man was quickly restrained, furious but powerless. Later, his nephew came to take the dog. "He's my uncle," he said quietly, a sentence heavy with pain. Officers gently removed the taser barb from Jinx, who didn't bark or resist. He simply walked away with his new owner, as if he understood it was finally over. March 25th, 2022, Indian River District. The chase began in St. Lucie District when officers pursued an older model gray Chevrolet Suburban driven by Corey Richardson. As the SUV entered the Indian River District, officers saw it speeding through traffic and even driving into the opposite lane on Highway 27, despite no patrol cars following closely behind.
So he's gonna pass 66th Avenue. We've got a 206 car that can get up maybe to 82nd. It's pretty sporty back here, so you're trying to get up to hit them.
The chase spilled over into rural dirt roads near highways 82 and 86, where the SUV sped along dirt roads with near zero visibility. With aerial support,
back westbound 21st Street, getting squirt.
Yeah, they're trying to.
officers pursued Richardson as he sped through a farm gate but hit a dead end and turned back.
Yeah, I just tried to pit. He's taking back off.
Coming up to the Range Road, southbound. Coming up to the range, dead end.
As the SUV returned to the road, officers performed a pit maneuver, causing the Suburban to crash into bushes near a fence.
Get out now, you're gonna get f***ing bit! Get out of your f***ing hands! Get out of your hands! Keep them up, motherfucker!
A K-9 unit was immediately deployed, and a police dog subdued Richardson before officers pulled him from the damaged SUV and apprehended him. Although the patrol vehicle sustained significant damage, no innocent civilians were injured.
Come back to me! Keep cover! Keep cover!
Look away!
Come back to me!
Erod, I got it. Walk back to me. Erod, come to me for arrest. Look away! Look straight.
Think I'm playing, bro? Huh? Ain't nobody fucking mental.
Youngstown, Ohio. On September 14, 2023, 27-year-old Keyshawn Sims entered the Youngstown Police Department lobby visibly agitated. An officer assigned to the auxiliary office initially attempted to engage Sims calmly, but the situation quickly escalated.
The chief only talks to people if they make an appointment. You have to make an appointment with the chief to see him. Okay.
You can call him. My phone's broken.
You know what? Let me call somebody from my age.
Sims became increasingly confrontational and a physical struggle ensued. During the altercation, Sims assaulted the officer and attempted to seize the officer's firearm. Backup officers arrived promptly, intervening to subdue and handcuff Sims, bringing the immediate threat under control.
Say it.
You have to leave now, sir.
Or what?
You have to leave now, sir.
Call someone right the fuck
I'm
now.
not calling anyone.
Yeah,
you have to leave.
Why?
Leave.
Make me leave.
Leave.
Make me leave.
Make you leave?
Yeah.
You called me retarded.
Say that shit again.
You're mental.
Ain't nobody fucking mental, bro. Get the fuck out. Think I'm playing, bro? Huh? Ain't nobody fucking mental. Fucking call somebody so I can fucking talk to someone.
Following the incident, Sims was arrested and booked into Mahoning County Jail. He faces multiple charges, including aggravated robbery, a first-degree felony, 2 counts of assault on a police officer, a 4th-degree felony, and misdemeanor charges for resisting arrest and obstructing official business. At his arraignment in municipal court, Sims's bond was set at $100,000, and he remains in custody pending further proceedings.
Fucking bullshit. Yep. I got something for you on that, boy. Yeah, today. I got something for all of you. Let's go.
The officer involved was taken to St. Elizabeth Health Center for medical evaluation and has since returned to duty. The Youngstown Police Department issued a statement indicating that they are carefully reviewing the incident and are evaluating whether additional training and updated de-escalation protocols are needed to better equip officers for handling high-stress confrontational situations in the future. Florida, January 23, 2025. Shortly after midnight, Florida Highway Patrol received an emergency call. John Cowan allegedly kidnapped his child, was armed, and was threatening to harm himself while fleeing in a white Dodge Ram pickup truck. Officers spotted the vehicle twice, but Cowan refused to stop and disappeared into the darkness. The child was later found safe in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven convenience store. Around 0:50 a.m., officers tracked the truck near San Carlos Boulevard and requested assistance from the Florida Highway Patrol, FHP. Sergeant David Blake found the out-of-control Dodge on the Matanzas Pass Bridge. As soon as the patrol lights came on, Cowan sped away. Blake immediately performed a pit maneuver, causing the truck to crash into a concrete barrier, but the Dodge regained control and sped off at nearly 100 miles per hour, running red lights all night. base ultimately collapsed when the truck lost a wheel. Vandemar closed in with a second pit, sending the Dodge spinning and crashing into the mangrove forest beside the road.
John, where are you hurting at? John, show me your hands. Put your hands up. Walk over the guardrail. Walk towards me. Get on the sidewalk, lay flat on your stomach, hands out like an airplane.
Officers surrounded the crash site as Cowan disappeared into the bushes, still believed to be armed. Minutes later, injured and exhausted, he emerged from the shadows and surrendered at 1:08 a.m., ending the all-night chase under flashing lights and shattered metal.
Red Audi, still rolling.
August 1st, 2023, a red Audi sedan ran a red light near the intersection of 27th and 43rd Streets, drawing the attention of police officers. They quickly attempted to stop the vehicle, but the driver, identified as Kawana Wright, continued speeding through residential streets while patrol cars pursued.
Still rolling. 35. Try to get a pit when traffic clears up.
Looking up to him and route behind you.
Wright sped north along 28th Avenue and turned west onto 45th Street, refusing to stop even as officers closed in on the Audi. Seeing no intention of stopping, the officers performed a pit. The Audi lost control, veered off the road into a ditch, and continued to sped into 44th Manor.
40th pit. So, lady, is he clean?
Yeah, it's 10-4. I just conducted a pit on it. They're looking like they're going to bail now.
Corner on the front, gonna put him in.
Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Get on the ground now! Watch crossfire! Watch crossfire! Crossfire! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Get on the ground now! Watch crossfire! Watch crossfire! Crossfire!
Wright suddenly opened the car door as if preparing to flee, then slammed it shut and accelerated again. The officers immediately conducted a second pit check. This time, the Audi spun sharply, rolled forward, and crashed into a tree at low speed, finally ending the chase.
Come this way, guys. We're good. Go ahead. Lay on your stomach. Lay on your stomach. I can clear the back seat. The back seat's clear. Yep. We're just gonna go up and cuff. Just cover the vehicle, okay? Good? Yep.
Wright was slow to comply with orders, but eventually climbed out and surrendered on the ground without further incident. Minutes later, she admitted she had planned to turn herself in and knew she had an arrest warrant, turning this reckless escape into another failed attempt to flee from the flashing lights of the police.
Yep, now stand up. You want to secure her in your vehicle, please?
Miami-Dade County, November 14th, 2023. On the Florida Turnpike, a Florida Highway Patrol officer spotted a dark blue Porsche Cayenne, later confirmed to be stolen from Collier County, recklessly weaving through traffic and using the shoulder to overtake other vehicles.
Sierra Bravo.
As the Porsche was forced into the concrete median on the right and began to slow down, Willie Perry proactively opened the car door. Perry didn't wait for the car to come to a complete stop, but leaned out, attempting to jump out and run away. As traffic became congested and the SUV became increasingly dangerous, officers performed a pit maneuver. The impact sent the Porsche sideways into the concrete median, sparks flying as it scraped against the wall and rapidly slowing down. As soon as he stopped, Perry jumped into the highway lane and attempted to run across the traffic, but police caught and apprehended him within moments. Perry later confessed that he was scared and insisted he believed the Porsche was rented from a friend for $500 a week. Investigators also discovered he only had a learner's license, while suspected drugs were found inside the SUV. What began as reckless speeding in a stolen luxury car ended with crashing into a concrete barrier under the flashing lights of traffic police.
Saying everything on me, bro.
Palm Beach County. What began as a routine speed check on Interstate 95 quickly escalated into a dangerous chase. A Florida traffic officer spotted a gray Range Rover speeding near 90 miles per hour and instructed the SUV to pull over. But as soon as the officer approached the rear of the vehicle, the driver suddenly accelerated and sped away, flying through streets near Route 45.
Coming up to North Shore.
Northbound. North Shore, eastbound.
I'm gonna go south on North Shore. Gonna pull into the plaza here.
The Range Rover sped through intersections, onto sidewalks, even suffering a rear tire blowout, and continued through plazas and side streets around North Shore Drive.
Now we're gonna go back to our street. He has a flat tire. He will not last very much longer.
The chase ended near Australian Avenue when the SUV crashed into another vehicle, leaving an elderly woman distraught and frightened.
Signal for 45th and North Shore.
Let me see your hands! 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 Let me see your hands!
The driver, later identified as 23-year-old Audley Alfred, surrendered minutes later and admitted he fled because he had marijuana in the vehicle. But the search uncovered much more: vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana, a block of cocaine, and packaging materials hidden inside an Adidas sports bag. Alfred was arrested on multiple drug-related and hit-and-run charges, turning a routine speeding stop into a dramatic drug bust on the streets of South Florida.
Stupid! Fuck, idiot. Let go!
Bath, Michigan. On October 6, 2025, around noon, officers began a pursuit of a man believed to be armed and involved in a domestic violence incident after spotting him driving a silver SUV on I-96 in Ingham County. When he refused to stop, multiple agencies joined the chase as it entered Livingston County.
36 Central, I'm jumping in. I'm lead car. 36 lead car, 1207.
He's taking the shoulder. He's doing a U-turn. We'll stop him.
Shoulder, U-turn, we'll stop him.
Dashcam footage shows the driver erratically weaving between lanes, occasionally slowing down as if to provoke officers and repeatedly gesturing out the window.
You very foot back around.
Now in the right lane, speed 105.
Right lane, speed 105. Back through hit 105. Almost did head on. We're going to be going eastbound wrong way. Eastbound wrong way. Clear, eastbound wrong way. Eastbound wrong way.
The situation escalated when he crossed the median at a bend and drove into the wrong lane, nearly causing multiple collisions.
4012, get on that ramp and block it off. Sun is clear, westbound, eastbound lanes.
093, I'm in the left lane, eastbound.
Clear, eastbound left lane. Going the wrong way, getting off at Collarville now. In the grass area.
Coming up, Collarville.
Clear, coming Collarville.
36,
Good. Done.
Officers performed several precise maneuvers before finally managing to get his SUV to turn around near a freeway exit.
Hands up! Hands up! Turn around, hands up! Hands up! Get on the ground! 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 Get on the ground!
The driver got out, threw off his hat, and continued gesturing before police used their tasers and arrested him. He was then handed over to Bathtown Police without further resistance. On August 19th, 2024, officers were on duty in the Capital Circle Northwest area when Tallahassee police pursued a vehicle involved in an armed carjacking. The stolen vehicle, Florida license plate KSIG03, was traveling northbound from Pensacola Road and continued through the Highway 27 intersection onto Old Bainbridge Road. After catching up near Dick Mitchell Road, I continued the pursuit. The suspect was speeding at over 100 miles per hour, forcing other vehicles to pull over. Entering Gadsden County, I attempted a rear-end collision, PIT, but the driver swerved toward my vehicle, forcing me to stop due to oncoming traffic. Near Concord Bainbridge Road, I rear-ended the vehicle, damaging both vehicles and sending them into a ditch. Devin Jerger and Delisa Morgan were arrested, and a firearm was recovered. The case has been handed over to Tallahassee Police.
102 is EMS needed.
Jonesboro, Arkansas. On June 3rd, 2024, a female driver without insurance fled a traffic stop on I-555, triggering a high-speed pursuit through city limits.
Pull into the fucking parking lot. No, pull into the parking lot.
Negative. Call it 1037. They're going ground. Just got back on the interstate.
Or northbound, southwest on top of the
TV guy.
Not moving.
She went down this ditch, she got back out. See him, that's
Yeah, we're low down on top. We'll move the red southbound.
After two tactical vehicle intervention (TVI) maneuvers, the suspect's vehicle crashed into a concrete wall. The patrol car used to stop her sustained significant damage and was later towed from the scene. The driver was arrested, taken for medical evaluation, and charged with felony eluding, reckless driving, and operating a vehicle without insurance or valid registration. Alexander, Arkansas. At 3:56 p.m. on May 19, 2025, Alexander police requested backup while pursuing a suspect on the South Service Road near Bryan Parkway. The fleeing driver, Timothy Ratliff, sped onto Interstate 30, reaching dangerously high speeds.
Secondary, get on the interstate, 126 eastbound.
Within minutes, officers executed a successful tactical vehicle intervention, TVI, bringing the chase to a safe end. Ratliff was taken into custody without resistance at the scene. What began as a simple pursuit quickly revealed more serious offenses. Ratliff now faces multiple charges, including fleeing, reckless driving, driving without a license, possession of a controlled substance, traffic violations, and having an open container. Clackamas County, Oregon. On April 6, 2020, deputies responded to a 911 call of a cabin burglary near Rhododendron. As deputies and an Oregon State Police trooper arrived on Road 35, they encountered the suspects leaving in a Subaru. The suspects reversed and fled, leading to a brief pursuit before leaving the roadway and being pinned.
I got 2 males and a silver Subaru going reverse at a high rate of speed from me. No plate on it. Could be a legacy wagon.
They fled on foot across Highway 26 into the forest, prompting a K-9 search. Both brothers Aaron and Clayton Neese were located and arrested within an hour. Stolen property, meth, and a pellet gun were recovered. Investigators later tied them to multiple thefts and burglaries. Both pleaded guilty, with Aaron sentenced to 80 months and Clayton to 29 months in prison, plus restitution. On February 7, 2024, around 1:25 a.m., Little Rock police reported losing sight of a black Dodge Challenger during a pursuit on Interstate 30 near I-430. About 20 minutes later, Trooper First Class Williams located the vehicle traveling northbound on I-430 near I-630. Before emergency lights were activated, the driver accelerated and exited toward Baptist Hospital, prompting a renewed pursuit.
Alright, let's keep going back towards Canis. Baptist. Make sure Little Rock's aware. Alright, you can cross out.
With lights and sirens engaged, the suspect sped off but failed to make a left turn at Medical Center Drive and Canias Road, leaving the roadway and crashing into a utility pole. The driver, identified as Davion Richards, fled on foot, jumping a wall into a hospital parking lot.
Put your hands behind your back. Okay. Hurry up. Taser deployed in the parking lot. Hands behind your back. Touch the small of your back.
Trooper Williams deployed a taser, briefly stopping him, but Richards attempted to run again before a second taser deployment brought him down, allowing officers to take him into custody.
1015, just east of my car by the parking deck. That crosser that was following him just pulled back up on scene beside him. Might want to check him. Hey, check that Chrysler!
Richards was transported to Baptist Hospital for medical clearance before being booked into the Pulaski County Detention Center. He faces multiple charges, including fleeing by vehicle and on foot, speeding, driving without a license or insurance, and fictitious tags.
On 430.
He was also held on an active theft warrant and additional charges out of Faulkner County while the vehicle was towed following the crash.
Look at him. Not too old to be running, dude. Sit up. I'm gonna help you up. Sit on your back. Sit on your back. You ready? I'm gonna pull you up. Hold on. Pull it when we stand up.
He's coming back out to the exit.
While patrolling near Southampton and West Fayetteville, officers spotted a vehicle with dark tint and suspected fake plates. When signaled to stop, the driver sped through the Park Place apartments and nearby plazas recklessly, even driving against traffic before continuing east on Godby Road.
Going to the Park Place. Feel about to hit the push bomb. Coming out the Godby Road. Alright, we're gonna be making a right onto Godby. Alright, just made a right, we're going back towards 314. Vehicle. Alright, we're coming up to 314 right now on Godby. Hey, go to Godby, 314 Godby. We're making a right onto 314.
The chase escalated as the vehicle exceeded 100 miles per hour on West Fayetteville, ran a red light, and entered oncoming lanes on wet pavement.
It'll be reckless driving 38 deep on 38 deep out the window. It's a Maryland tag. Hey, come around me, take over. Come around me, take over. Speed's gonna be 100, traffic is light. Gonna be going Gonna be going south on 314.
The driver lost control and crashed into the woods, then fled on foot. Officers issued commands and a taser was used to subdue him.
He's behind me, 41, hold traffic.
The suspect, Collins, had a suspended license and was wanted for homicide by vehicle. The stolen car had a fake VIN, and a search uncovered about 1.4 pounds of marijuana and a scale. He was booked into Clayton County Jail. The white Chevrolet crossover launched into a dangerous high-speed chase after being caught speeding at 100 miles per hour. As the driver swerved recklessly between lanes, the pursuit turned into a major threat to all motorists on the highway. Officers executed a precise tactical vehicle intervention, flipping the suspect's vehicle and bringing the chaos to a halt. The driver attempted to escape on foot, but was quickly captured along with a passenger. A search revealed 150 fentanyl pills and a quantity of green leafy substances suspected to be drugs. Both suspects now face multiple felony charges and the likelihood of a lengthy prison sentence.
Get on your belly! Get on your belly!
On January 7th, 2022, at 8:52 p.m., a Florida Highway Patrol trooper responded to reports of a reckless driver on Interstate 75 near State Road 54, where the vehicle had reportedly struck a tractor trailer earlier. The trooper located the car in an Ulta parking lot and attempted a traffic stop, but the driver fled south through the lot. The 2008 Infiniti sped onto Wesley Chapel Boulevard, ran a red light at State Road 56, and was hit by another vehicle. The suspect then drove west in the eastbound lanes before making a U-turn, allowing the trooper to perform a pit maneuver and end the pursuit.
Get out of the fucking car! Get out of the fucking head! From your fucking head! Get out of the fucking car! Get it out! Get out of the fucking car now! Get out of the fucking car now! Get out of the fucking car now! From your fucking head! Get out of the fucking car now!
Both occupants were arrested and found with dozens of stolen perfumes from a prior theft in Ocala. Driver Dijah Zane Washington Alston, 24, of Seffner, was booked into Pasco County Jail, while passenger Tracariah Nicole Nicholson, 25, of Tampa, was returned to police.
Get on the ground. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground, I'm gonna throw you on the ground. Get on your knees. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now.
Genesee County Flint City Dispatch aired a shots fired call near 3921 Joyner Street. Trooper Kairos and I responded, speaking with multiple residents who confirmed the incident.
We're still northbound Warrington. Almost lost it. We're westbound Santa.
The suspect vehicle was described as a newer white Dodge Charger with a cracked windshield and no license plate. After confirming no victims were struck, we began canvassing the area.
Still westbound Santa Barbara. What is there? Coming up to Canterbury Lane. Eastbound. Second and third car there, a hard time keeping up. Primary units on him.
I soon located the Charger at Ballinger Highway and Flushing Road. A traffic stop was attempted, but the driver fled.
Eastbound Road 1 on primary now.
It's a negative on that reported crash. It was a pit maneuver attempt. Looks like you might be trying to get on southbound 75. Or my speed wise. 40, 38.
Fuck you. Looks like we got him on the ramp. Now he's driving off the ramp. He spun out.
He's stuck.
You're trying to drive out of it.
He's running, holding his waistband.
After 2 PT maneuvers, the vehicle was disabled, and Tyree Nazrael Parker ran on foot carrying a pistol before discarding it.
Black male, white hoodie, holding his waistband across the expressway.
Put right hand. Going back up to the overpass.
Troopers quickly apprehended Parker with a taser on Pearson Road near I-75. The recovered firearm was a loaded black Glock 30. Parker was jailed on multiple felony charges, and the vehicle was towed while evidence and video were secured.
Yeah. Mine's a little bruised. Actually, go ahead and do quick and then. Yeah.
While on patrol, the officer received a Kent County report about attempted robberies at several mobile phone stores. The suspect vehicle matched one used in a November 16, 2020 armed robbery at a Grand Rapids Boost Mobile and fit a months-long pattern.
SES 263 north, check South Carolina, coming up to 196.
The officer soon spotted the vehicle eastbound on Lake Michigan Drive near Collindale Northwest Boulevard. When the officer turned to investigate, the vehicle fled. The match was confirmed, and emergency lights and sirens were activated, initiating a pursuit.
Try again.
68.
MSP is pursuing
Lake Michigan Drive. They're going to crash it.
After about 2 miles, a second pit maneuver near Richards Boulevard successfully stopped the vehicle. The occupants fled on foot but were quickly located and arrested with assistance from Kent County deputies and Grand Rapids officers.
6112 in correction. One outstanding, I guess.
6112, are you able to secure an unmarked car that's in the valley?
Yes, it's directly behind me. It's secure.
On January 21st, 2024, while patrolling near Mayflower, Arkansas, I was notified that Conway police were pursuing a black Toyota RAV4 traveling east. I activated my emergency equipment and moved to intercept the pursuit along State Highway 89 South. I soon became the primary unit as the suspects sped along narrow roads, ignored traffic controls, and crossed into oncoming lanes. Early TVI attempts were delayed due to traffic and safety concerns. In Cabot, traffic slowed enough to allow a successful TVI. The vehicle spun off the roadway and was disabled. The suspect fled briefly but was captured, and stolen property was recovered.
Yes, she would. Yes, she was. You right behind me? I was the officer who passed the secondary, and then Nate was the one right behind me. Every time I get over, he was, she was avoiding the mess out of it. She was working that thing.
This 90-pound Doberman stood frozen, his ears twitching. Then, a toddler stumbled towards him. What happened next shocked his parents to their core. You won't believe what this powerful guard dog did. Sarah and David watched from their patio, their hearts in their throats. Their son, Leo, barely 18 months old, was toddling across the grass. He wore a bright blue t-shirt and a diaper. His chubby legs moved with that determined, clumsy toddler gait. His wide eyes were fixed on the massive Doberman, Zeus, with pure, unadulterated delight. He giggled. That happy sound, usually a source of joy, now only amplified the tension in the air. "Zeus, heel," Sarah called out, her voice laced with nervousness. The Doberman stood like a statue. He was 90 pounds of coiled muscle, bred for protection, a sentry. He was a weapon if the situation demanded it. But Leo was just a baby, drawn to the dog with innocent curiosity. "Sarah, get him," David said from the grill, his voice tight. "I'm trying," Sarah whispered back. Zeus, heel. They had owned Zeus for 5 years. 5 years of loyalty, obedience, and unwavering devotion. Dobermans are often called Velcro dogs. They bond intensely with their families. They follow them from room to room, never wanting to be separated. But they're also bred as guard dogs. Their protective instincts can be unpredictable, especially around small children. Their veterinarian had been very direct about this. Zeus is well-trained, Dr. Morrison had said during Leo's 6-month checkup. But he's also a 90-pound guard dog with powerful jaws. As Leo gets more mobile, you need to be vigilant. One snap, even a warning snap, could be catastrophic. Sarah had felt sick hearing those words. David had been quieter about his own concerns. But Sarah noticed the way he watched Zeus whenever Leo was in the room. She saw how he positioned himself between them during playtime. She felt the subtle tension in his shoulders whenever Leo crawled too close to the dog's food bowl. 3 months ago, something had happened that made their anxiety spike. Leo had screamed. It was a high-pitched wail of pain and shock. He had hit his head on the coffee table. And Zeus had reacted. The Doberman had been across the room. But in an instant, he was there. He stood over Leo, his body rigid. A low growl rumbled from his chest. It wasn't directed at Leo. It was directed at Sarah. When she'd rushed forward to pick up her crying son, Zeus had blocked her path. Just for a second, his body was tense. His eyes were locked on her hands. "Zeus, move," she'd commanded, her voice shaking. He had obeyed, but slowly, reluctantly. Sarah scooped up Leo, her heart pounding like a drum. That night, they had the conversation. The one Sarah had been dreading. "Maybe we should rehome him," David had said, his voice heavy with emotion. "Just until Leo's older. Until he can defend himself if something goes wrong." Sarah had cried at the thought. Zeus had been with them since he was a puppy. He was family. But Leo was their son. "Let's give it more time," she'd finally said, wiping away tears. "We'll watch them closely. If anything else happens, anything at all, we'll make the decision." David had agreed. But the tension had never fully left their home. Today had started strangely. Zeus had been pacing since dawn. He was restless in a way Sarah had never seen before. He kept going to the back door. He would stare out at the yard, whining softly. What's wrong with him? Sarah had asked David over breakfast. But Zeus hadn't eaten his breakfast. That was highly unusual for him. Sarah had knelt beside him, checking for any signs of illness. No fever, no limping. His nose was cool and wet. "Maybe he's just having an off day," she'd murmured, scratching behind his ears. But the feeling of unease had stayed with her all morning. Now, watching her son toddle toward the dog, that unease transformed into full-blown terror. Because today, Zeus stood frozen. He glanced at Sarah for a split second. When she called his name, he deliberately turned his head away. He chose to disobey. "He's ignoring you," David said, stepping forward, panic rising in his voice. "He's locking on," Sarah breathed. Leo was making a squealing sound. His small hands were reaching out as he picked up speed. He was getting closer to the edge of the tall ornamental grass where Zeus stood. "Leo, stop!" Sarah screamed, stepping off the patio. "Come to mommy." But Leo wasn't interested. His eyes were locked on Zeus. "Doggy, doggy," he chirped. Zeus's cropped ears swiveled hard to the right. He wasn't looking at the baby anymore. He was listening. Listening to something Sarah's ears couldn't catch. A faint dry rustle in the dead leaves. His head lowered. The muscles in his neck bunched tight like steel cables. He didn't wag his tail. He didn't pant. He just watched with a predator's intensity. It made Sarah's blood run cold. "David, do something." Sarah gasped. But David was frozen too. Sarah knew Zeus was a trained protector. She had seen him alert on strangers at the door. She had seen him position himself between her and potential threats on evening walks. But watching those alert ears twitch now, that statue-still posture, it looked like a wolf deciding when to strike. "If I run, he triggers," Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. "If Leo runs, Zeus chases." She had read about it in her research. Guard dogs, especially breeds like Dobermans, have strong prey drives. Fast movement can trigger an instinctive chase response. And once triggered, they don't stop. "He's waiting for him to get closer," David whispered, horrified. 3 feet. Zeus shifted his weight, loading his hindquarters. His nub of a tail was perfectly still. His entire body was a coiled spring, tense, ready to explode. His muscles were vibrating so hard Sarah could see his black skin twitching beneath his short coat. He was fighting something. Fighting his own training or preparing to use it. Sarah's mind flashed to the news stories she'd read late at night when she couldn't sleep. Family dog attacks toddler. Doberman mauls child. Owner says dog had never shown aggression before. "No," she breathed. "No, no, no." Leo reached out with one chubby hand. He stumbled over a tree root but caught himself. His smile was so trusting, so completely oblivious to the beast watching him. To Sarah, everything seemed to slow down. She could see individual blades of grass bending under Leo's small feet. She could see the afternoon sunlight catching on Zeus's sleek coat. She could see the subtle tremor in the dog's powerful shoulders. "Zeus down." Sarah screamed, using her most authoritative voice, the command that always worked. Zeus didn't even blink. His obsession was focused entirely on something on the ground directly in front of Leo's feet. His lip curled up, revealing the full length of his canine teeth. Those teeth that could crush bone. 2 feet. "We have to grab him," David said, his voice cracking. "Sarah, we have to. If we move too fast, Zeus will react," Sarah said, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know what to do. I don't know." Leo was right there now. The toddler looked impossibly fragile next to the chest of the lean, muscular dog. Sarah's vision tunneled. This was it. This was the moment she'd been dreading for months. "David," she screamed. "I'm going," David yelled, sprinting across the grass. But even as he ran, Sarah knew he wouldn't make it in time. Zeus was too close. Leo was too small. It would be over in seconds. Then everything happened at once. Leo took the final step, his foot landing in the ivy. "Mine," he said, reaching for Zeus. "No!" Sarah screamed, her voice raw. A rustle in the ivy, louder now, unmistakable, triggered the explosion. Zeus didn't bark. He launched. The Doberman's body blurred into motion, covering the distance in a heartbeat. He opened his massive jaws wide, aiming directly at Leo's stumbling legs. It looked like a direct attack. Sarah closed her eyes, unable to watch her worst nightmare come true. Snap. The sound of jaws clapping shut was louder than a pistol shot. Leo was knocked violently backward by the dog's shoulder, landing hard on his back in the grass. For 2 seconds, nobody breathed. The world stopped. Sarah fell to her knees. "Leo," she shrieked, her voice breaking. David slid to a halt, grabbing Leo and yanking him into his arms, spinning away from the dog, shielding him with his own body. But Zeus didn't pursue them. He stood his ground, shaking, adrenaline coursing through his 90-pound frame. He kept his head low, pinning something to the earth with his front paws. He was growling now, a deep guttural rumble, not of aggression, but of victory. David checked Leo frantically, his hands trembling. "Is he bit?" Sarah screamed. "David, is he bit?" Leo was crying from the shove and the shock, but his legs. There were no marks, no blood, nothing. "He's fine," David breathed, disbelief flooding his voice. "He's not hurt." Sarah crawled forward on her hands and knees, her vision blurred with tears. "David, look at the ground." Zeus remained frozen, his muscular leg pressed firmly into the ivy, holding something down. Only when David moved Leo away, far away, did Zeus step back. Lying in the grass, severed cleanly in half, was a copperhead snake. "Dead." "Oh my God," Sarah whispered. "He heard it," David said, his voice shaking. "He ignored us because he heard the snake." Zeus hadn't aimed for the boy's leg. He had intercepted the strike. Sarah looked at the dog, then at her son, then back at the snake. "He saved him," she breathed. Zeus looked up at them, panting, the adrenaline fading. The intense predator look was gone. He trotted over to Leo, his nub tail wagging furiously. Leo, still crying, reached out his tiny arms. "Hug," he sniffled. Zeus moved slowly, his head lowered, his chest dropping to the grass. He made himself as small as 90 pounds of muscle could be until finally his head came to rest gently within Leo's arms. Leo squealed and buried his face into Zeus's coat. Sarah collapsed back onto the grass. "He understood," David breathed. Leo patted the dog's head. "Good doggy." David looked at Zeus, then at the snake. "I'm sorry for doubting you, boy." Sarah knelt beside them. "You're his guardian, aren't you?" From that day forward, nobody in that house ever doubted who Leo's protector was. Zeus, 90 pounds of sleek muscle, alert ears, and absolute devotion. A Velcro dog who had chosen his human and would protect him with everything he had. Did you enjoy this story? Do you believe dogs are guardian angels? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day. The sun was just beginning to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a stark contrast to the lingering fear that had settled over the backyard. Sarah watched Leo, now calm and sleepy, nestled beside Zeus on the porch swing. The dog's heavy head rested on the boy's lap, his deep breaths a steady, comforting rhythm. David stood by the back door, staring out at the spot where the snake had been, a profound stillness in his posture. The chirping of crickets, usually a familiar evening sound, now seemed to carry an edge of unease. "I still can't believe it," David finally said, his voice quiet. How he just knew. How he reacted so fast. Sarah nodded, pulling a light blanket over Leo. "He's always been protective, David. You've seen it. The way he watches Leo when we're at the park, the way he barks if anyone he doesn't know gets too close." She paused, her gaze drifting to Zeus, whose ears twitched at the mention of his name. But this was different. This was instinct, pure and simple. David walked over, joining Sarah on the porch. He sat down on the steps, running a hand through his hair. "I guess I was so focused on the what-ifs. What if Leo had touched it? What if it had bitten him? That I didn't even consider that Zeus might be the one to step in." He looked at the dog, a newfound respect in his eyes. He was the one actively watching for danger, wasn't he? Not us. The following morning felt different. The air was crisp, the sun bright, but the memory of the snake was a shadow that clung to the edges of their awareness. Sarah found herself constantly glancing at Leo, her eyes scanning the grass, the flower beds, the base of the trees. David, too, was more watchful, his movements a little more deliberate as he moved around the yard. Zeus, however, seemed to have shrugged off the incident with remarkable ease. He was back to his usual playful self, chasing squirrels with renewed vigor, his tail a blur of happy motion. Yet, even in his playfulness, there was a subtle shift. He seemed to have a new purpose, a heightened sense of his role. Whenever Leo wandered off, even just to the edge of the porch, Zeus would be there, a silent shadow, his gaze steady. If a bird took flight suddenly, or a leaf rustled a little too loudly, Zeus's head would snap up, his body tensing for a split second before he relaxed. It was as if the snake had unlocked a deeper layer of his protective nature. That afternoon, Sarah decided to tackle the overgrown corner of the garden where the snake had been seen. She armed herself with gardening gloves, a trowel, and a healthy dose of apprehension. David offered to help, but Sarah shook her head. No, I need to do this. I need to feel like I'm taking back our space. Zeus, of course, was right beside her, his nose twitching as she began to clear away the thick weeds and tangled vines. She worked methodically, her movements slow and deliberate. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, made her heart jump. Zeus remained close, his body a comforting weight against her leg, his soft whines a constant reassurance. He didn't bark or growl, just stayed present, a silent sentinel. Sarah discovered a cluster of fallen branches piled near the fence, a perfect hiding spot for something slithery. She hesitated, then, taking a deep breath, began to move them. As she lifted the last heavy branch, she saw it, a small, dark shape nestled in the damp earth beneath. It wasn't a snake. It was a bird's nest, surprisingly intact, with 3 tiny, speckled eggs inside. Sarah gasped, a wave of relief washing over her, quickly followed by a pang of guilt. She had been so consumed by the fear of what be hiding there, she hadn't considered what already there. Zeus nudged her hand with his nose, as if to say, "See? Nothing to worry about." Sarah knelt down, her gardening forgotten. She gently touched the edge of the nest. "Oh, you poor things," she whispered. "I almost disturbed you." She looked at Zeus, his big brown eyes reflecting the sunlight. "You were protecting them too, weren't you, boy? You knew they were here." David came out then, seeing Sarah kneeling by the nest. "Everything okay?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. Sarah smiled, a genuine, unburdened smile. "Everything's more than okay, David. It's beautiful." She showed him the nest and the eggs. David's shoulders visibly relaxed. "Well, I'll be," he murmured. "Looks like we have some new neighbors." The incident with the snake, while terrifying, had undeniably changed something. It had awakened a deeper understanding of Zeus, not just as a pet, but as a vital member of their family, a guardian in the truest sense. The fear of the unknown in their own backyard had been replaced by a quiet confidence, a trust that had been forged in a moment of sudden danger. Weeks turned into months. Leo continued to grow, his laughter echoing through the house, his adventures becoming bolder. And Zeus remained his constant companion, his shadow. He was there for every scraped knee, every bedtime story, every whispered secret. He would lie patiently as Leo meticulously dressed him in doll clothes, his expression one of stoic acceptance, occasionally punctuated by a soft sigh. Sarah and David found themselves less anxious, their vigilance softening into a comfortable awareness. They still kept an eye out, of course, but the constant knot of worry in Sarah's stomach had loosened. They knew Zeus was on watch. His presence was a balm, a silent promise of safety. He was the furry, four-legged embodiment of peace of mind. One crisp autumn afternoon, Leo was playing with his toy truck in the yard. Zeus was dozing nearby, his ears still alert to the slightest sound. A gust of wind rustled the dry leaves, and a small object skittered across the lawn. Leo, engrossed in his game, didn't notice. But Zeus's eyes snapped open. He didn't bark, didn't growl. He simply rose, walked calmly over to Leo, and nudged the toy truck with his nose, pushing it gently away from the path of the skittering object. Sarah, watching from the kitchen window, saw the whole thing. The object was just a dried maple seed, no threat at all. But Zeus hadn't known that. His instinct had kicked in, his protective programming overriding any casual assessment. He had seen a movement, a potential danger, and he had moved to shield Leo. It was a small gesture, almost imperceptible to an untrained eye, but to Sarah, it was another testament to his unwavering devotion. She went outside, calling, "Zeus, good boy." Zeus looked up, wagging his tail, his job seemingly done. Leo, oblivious, continued to play. Sarah knelt beside Zeus, scratching him behind his ears. "You're the best boy," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. She looked at him, at the powerful muscles beneath his sleek coat, at the intelligence in his eyes, and felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. The years continued to pass. Leo grew taller, his voice deepened, his interests shifted from toy trucks to bicycles and video games. Zeus, too, began to show signs of age. His muzzle turned a distinguished gray, his movements became a little slower, his naps a little longer. But his loyalty never wavered. He was still Leo's constant shadow, his guardian, his best friend. On Leo's 10th birthday, the family had a small party in the backyard. Friends and family gathered, laughter filled the air, and the scent of barbecue wafted through the neighborhood. Leo, surrounded by his friends, was a whirlwind of energy. Zeus lay on the cool grass under the shade of the old oak tree, his eyes half closed, but his ears still tuned to the sounds of the celebration. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the lawn, Leo, flushed with excitement, ran towards Zeus. "Zeus, come on, boy. Let's play," he shouted, grabbing his dog's favorite worn-out tennis ball. Zeus slowly rose, his joints creaking a little. He looked at Leo, then at the ball, and a flicker of his old energy seemed to ignite in his eyes. He trotted over to Leo, nudged the ball with his nose, and then, with a surprisingly spry burst of speed, took off across the yard, the ball held gently in his mouth. Leo shrieked with delight, chasing after him. The other children, seeing the fun, joined in, a chaotic, joyous game of chase erupting. Sarah and David watched, a warmth spreading through them. Zeus, the aging protector, was still there, still providing the spark, still ensuring Leo's happiness. He was a living testament to the power of love and loyalty, a bond that time could only deepen. Later that evening, after the guests had left and the house was quiet again, Leo, exhausted but happy, curled up on the rug beside Zeus, who had settled onto his favorite spot by the fireplace. The dog let out a contented sigh, resting his head on his paws. Leo, already half asleep, reached out a hand and gently stroked Zeus's gray muzzle. "You're my best friend, Zeus," he mumbled, his voice slurred with sleep. Zeus responded with a soft rumble in his chest, a sound that was more than just a noise. It was a response, an affirmation, a promise. A promise of continued protection, of unconditional love, a promise whispered in the language only a dog and his human could truly understand. The fire crackled, casting a warm glow on the sleeping boy and his faithful guardian, a silent tableau of devotion that spoke volumes. And so, the story of Zeus, the guardian angel dog, continued. Not in dramatic rescues, but in the quiet, everyday moments that stitched together the fabric of a happy, safe life. He was the steady heartbeat in Leo's world, the furry embodiment of courage, and a constant reminder that sometimes the greatest heroes come with wagging tails and unconditional love. His presence was a blessing, a gift that kept on giving, day after day, year after year. He had come into their lives as a rescue, a bundle of energy and instinct. He had faced down a venomous threat without hesitation, proving his mettle and earning his place not just in their home, but in their hearts. He had become more than a pet. He had become family, a protector, a furry confidant. And as the years unfolded, his story, interwoven with Leo's, became a legend whispered around their dinner table, reminder of the extraordinary love and bravery that could be found in the most unexpected of places. Did you enjoy this story? Do you believe dogs are guardian angels? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.